welcome everyone. This is Sean Kudnick with Dream Car Exchange.
Hi, Chris Bind here.
Hey guys, so what we're doing here today is what we call Would You Rather Shorts. So this is a take on our Would You Rather bracket tournament, where what we're gonna do here is just take a few minutes to kind of talk about some of the cars that we have in our supercars bracket tournament. And the first matchup that we have here is the Ferrari 250 GTO and the Spyker C8. So, Chris, why don't you start and kind of take it away for a minute here?
Sure, yeah. And I mean, this is our supercar edition, right? So 2 cars here and 2 manufacturers that clearly pump out supercars. You got Spyker, relatively new, not a lot of Dutch manufacturers that I can think of, but
Yep.
in the supercar, that's all they really produce is supercars. And then, of course, Ferrari. Don't need to really introduce that to me. I mean, when you think about Spyker, there's probably some connections there that you might not think of right off the bat when you compare it to a Ferrari. But they, from their launch, I mean, they were racing designed as well too. So endurance racing, which brings you right to the 250 GTO and all of Ferrari's history in racing.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about the 250 GTO in a little bit more detail, right? So 250 GTO, they made only like 36 of these things over a 3-year period, right? A fantastic sounding V12 up front. I think it's small. I think it's only about 3 liters, about
3 liter,
horsepower or something like that, right?
It's all alloy, right?
Yeah, right. So we actually saw one of these up at when we were at Cavallino back in January of 19, right? And here's a couple of pictures we have of it here, right? So here's the V12 with with the 6 Weber carbs sticking on top there. I think we have an interior shot here. Yeah, I mean, we have an interior shot. I mean, look at the size of this gear shift, this gated gear shift. Pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, and interesting to get the interior here, because when you're talking about a 250 GTO, right? What is this? This is a no-frills race car, really.
Yep.
I think we're going to see a stark comparison when we look at the Spyker.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I think we have an interior shot here of the Spyker. Let me pop that up. It's here somewhere. Here it is, right? So here's a shot of the Spyker. And I remember seeing one of these. The first time I saw one was at a Barrett Jackson event down in Palm Beach. Probably, I think it was like in 2007, maybe. And they had one there. And this car just looks absolutely outrageous. I mean, the attention to detail.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is the detail. Wow.
Yeah, and I mean the shifter there. I mean, it is just in person. It's just absolutely. It has the shaft that goes from the front into through the back here. I mean, all this leather, quilted leather, obviously. All the aluminum. I mean, if you look at the HVAC vents, right? They're very much inspired by kind of the rotaries, right? So. Yes. Very much of kind of aerospace and aircraft type of influence that went into this car, right? So very different cars, scissor doors, very, very different cars here, without a doubt. So let me go back to our shot of both of them here. So bear with me. So I think we got it. Oops.
And so the Spykers are they're 4.2 liter.
Yeah, actually it's an Audi engine,
V8?
right? So it's the Audi engine, about 400 horse. Similar engine that's in the R8, the RS4. Those 4.2 liters. And those engines, they sound great. I mean, they really do. And so it's obviously they source their engine from a third party, being Audi, which is perfectly fine. But if I look at these 2 cars, I almost feel like this is it's a Ferrari 250 GTO. I mean, people think of this as pretty much like, the quintessential supercar or quintessential sports car ever,
Exactly.
And I feel bad for Spyker here. And it's, if I look at it in the bracket, right, it's almost like the 16 seed and the 1 seed.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, the 250 GTO, I mean, widely regarded as one of the greatest Ferrari of all time.
Yeah.
It clearly still holds the world's record for resale at private
Yep.
sale back in 2018 at $70 million.
Yeah.
I was thinking similar that I feel kind of bad for Spiker because they're producing, just phenomenal cars and they've been doing it since 2000. A lot of different variants. I think the one that we've got listed here looks like a second generation Spider.
Yeah, it's either first. It might be the first or second. I'm not exactly sure. But it's one of the earlier ones.
Yeah.
That they had the production run for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's the premise here again. To actually, we didn't mention this, but the premise here is what would you rather have, right? Not what the car's worth or
Yep.
all this kind of stuff. But if money was no object, you're not going to get a return on it or anything. But just from the car, for having the car's sake, which one would you prefer? So I think everyone, if they were think about resale and someone was handing them a car,
Pretty obvious. Yeah.
the GTO obviously is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You're set for life, right? But I think even regardless, for me, if I was looking to which I would rather, it's the 250 GTO. I mean, it's the car.
Yeah, I think you summed it up to where, filling that void of the basketball tournament and the pools.
Yep.
It's probably of all the brackets, of all the comparisons we have going, this is probably the one that really fits that 1 in 16. For me, it's somewhat of a no-brainer.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing against the Spiker, but it's a 250 GTO. So
exactly.
All right, so there you have it. So unanimous 250 GTO. So thanks for joining. We're going to continue to do a bunch of these. So hope you tune into some of the others. Thanks a lot.